Hey, good Saturday afternoon. Welcome. You are looking at the Mighty Dash's third cousin twice removed, the guy who lives in Philly, known as the Mighty Slice. And the Mighty Slice and I are going to be heading up to New York. Now, you might wonder, why am I doing this video today? A little hop from New York to Philly on a beautiful, uneventful day like today, this Saturday in January, and the answer actually lies right here. Let's turn on active sky next, and you'll see why we're doing this. Give it another minute to think about it, to spin its wheels a bit, maybe. Aha! We are in, I guess, what will be known as the blizzard of 2016. We have just de-iced, and so we are getting ready to go. We're going to go as quickly as we possibly can here because of that. Heading up to Kennedy into blizzard conditions, last flight out before the airports close and things get impossible, or shall we say more impossible. We're going to fly the following route. Bada bing, bada boom. And what we're going to do is we're going to depart on the Philadelphia 1 departure. We're going to turn slightly southeast and fly out to Coyle, which oddly enough has the designator of Charlie Yankee November, but never mind. And at Coyle, we're essentially going to pick up the Cameron 4 arrival and take it around this way, and we are going to fly a Cat 3 HUD approach, maybe Cat 2, we'll see, into Kennedy's runway 4 right if the weather holds up. The winds at the moment are about 030, or roughly speaking about like that. 030 at 31 knots steady and gusting higher, and the visibility like this or worse. So wish us luck. We're all counting on us here, aren't we? So quickly did my other checks. Our gear pins are in, and our power lever naturally does the little SciTech bump there. Our demist is on. Our prop ice is on. Our boots are not yet on. We've just been de-iced. Bleeds are on and min. Lights are now where they should be. Seatbelt signs are fine. Cautions are clear. Our initial altitude for the Philadelphia 1 departure are 5,000, and the Philadelphia 1 departure is actually just whatever heading ATC gives you and whatever vectors it gives you to your assigned fix. So we're just going to pretend we get vectored around here, but let me just get ourselves set up to be in flying condition. I should have done that before I started the video, but I neglected the reality that whenever you reload the aircraft, the window sizes go back to their default. So apologies for that. As you can see, this is our route here. There is Coyle, and this is the beginning of the middle of the Cameron 4, and here's our approach, assuming things don't change. If things change, the only way we could conceivably get into JFK is if the wind switches around from the reverse, because I don't think there's another Cat 2 or 3 arrival available. We would probably have to divert, and we planned for that. We've got enough fuel on board so we can divert to Albany or Bradley up in Hartford, or if need be, barely to Boston Logan, but there are a dozen other airfields where we can set down, so that shouldn't be a problem. One last thing is, I'm going to just quickly check our weather conditions. 2957. Holy crap. 2957 is our altimeter. So this, as you can tell from the pressure, is quite a storm. So here we go. Start the clock. Check everything else. We're in heading select. That's all good. Yaw damper is on. Hydraulics have already been checked. Electrics have been checked. Fuel is on board. Auto feather on. Auxes, pumps, both on. And we are ready to go flying. And away we go. Battling a breeze already. Gear up. Trim down. Bring the flaps up. Look for 1,000 feet. Pop ourselves into IAS mode. And here we go. Back come the props. I'll actually increase our climb speed a little bit in anticipation of ice. Climb at about 210. And we'll have been cleared direct to coils, so we'll head that way right now. I just popped ourselves into nav mode. Put on the autopilot, take care of some cleanup work here. Off come our pumps. Pop on our weather radar in 1 second. Okay, there we go. Check that 5,000 is set in outcell, and we're going to request clearance up to our cruising altitude, which is going to be 15. Well, you see, I still think I'm in Europe. I just said 150, which is going to be 15,000 feet. And they will understandingly and understandably say yes. We're practically the only airplanes in the sky right now. Did I say airplanes in the sky? We're practically the only airplane, too. Fortunately, we are climbing sharpishly, which is good. And let's see if we can take a look at that ice on our wings here. Oh, ho, ho. We got a little bit on everything. Okay, that's fun. Let's check our spigot. Yep, you see, we got a coating of ice on that too. All right. Bring back our climb speed a little bit, try to get above it. Probably won't. Start to program in our HUD very quickly. Before we do that, turn on the weather radar. Put it on our first officer's side. Alright, check to make sure that it's on. It is. And we're 28 miles from Coil, at which point we're almost going to have to start coming down. This is what you might call convective activity here, folks. Some of the cloud tops on some of these extend into the tens of thousands of feet. And then there's just a giant blanketing of sludge underneath them. So we're going to have quite the day. All right, while I'm at it, let me check our approach plate. Our intermediate fix is Zettel. Then Ebby, Zettel at 2,000 or above. 8,400 and 13 feet. So what we do is, to make sure that we have an accurate HUD, is we set in the correct runway elevation and the correct runway length. So that's 8,400. Enter. And elevation is 1,3. Enter. It's a standard 3-degree slope. There we go. Check our HUD right now, make sure everything's cool there. Coming up on 1,000 away. There it is. Back come our props, and we hope that our nice SciTech throttles don't do anything awkward on us like they usually do. Okay, altitude is captured. Just going to toggle my HUD there. There we go. That's what it'll look like in instrument landing mode. It's decluttered. Still has our approach speeds. Still has our flight path vectors, obviously. Just adjust our trim. Still has a slip indicator. Let's take my feet off of the pedals. Okay, we're 19 away from Coil. Let's put a little more trim back in. That indicates the mode we're in. That is our altitude selector or altitude capture. This is our mode annunciator. This tells us our next waypoint. This is our 3 degree down, 5 degrees down. And this is our heading right here. And you can see in the cluttered mode, it basically looks like a replica of your PFD. And I'm just spinning our heading bug around here. Oops. I've got that mapped to a key on the joystick. So, all right. Having established that that's working, let me just see what we've tuned in. I've tuned in Deer Park, which is our missed approach fix right here, and these are our two in nav 1 and nav 2, our localizers for 4 right. And while we're at it, let's just check Kennedy's weather, because we're going to be doing this real quick. Snow. Oh, only 25 knots. That's no fun. 2961. Let's see what the ceiling is. Visibility 0.3 of a mile. Ceiling 510 feet. But it's snowy, so the visibility is going to be crappy, and with any luck it'll be foggy too. Alright, so 2961, we'll drop that on our standby. And let's quickly program in a descent. Quickly retrim. Wow. Alright, VNav, let's see, where do we want to go first? Where's our first constraint? Zettel, so Zettel at, let's make Zettel at 2,000. And we'll make it the first Zettel if we can. There we go. Boom, boom. Let's see, our top of descent is in 5 minutes. All right, so we're clipping along here. This exercise is mainly to watch me screw up an arrival. For you, that is. I mean, I can watch myself screw up an arrival anytime, but this is special for you guys. Okay, not within range to arm the approach. As you can see right here, we're going to turn to the north in just a second, and at Cameron, we're going to be going down. Actually, at Cars, right? At Cars, I think. We'll spin in 2000 into our altitude window. In the real world, we'd be getting altitudes from ATC. We'd be hooking up at this point with New York approach, and they would be guiding us around the sky. As you can see here, this annunciator has switched into term for terminal phase of the flight, and I believe it does that when you get onto a published star. Or possibly, and I'm not sure about this, there's some logic for when you're within a designated range of a published approach, even if you're not on a star. I'm just going to roll back our power a little bit because we're getting a little quick and we're going to be going a little down in 1 second. Just tighten up the range a little bit here. Some higher resolution. I have the radar up for academic interest only, really, because we're going to be landing no matter what. Our operating premise is that unsafe and stupid are the ways to go. Just tilt our radar down a little bit so I get a better view of what we're descending into, though. We're doing this for entertainment purposes only. Remember, everyone, no wagering, except in states where it's permitted. Let's get some landing speeds here. 117. In real life, also, we would be making allowances for slippery runway. And I have to confess, I haven't looked at the table, but there should be an allowance for whether a runway is contaminated or not, and usually the corrections for landing distance can be anywhere from 15% to 30-40%. So we're going to pop ourselves into VNAV mode. That does not affect our V-speed. It only affects our calculations of whether the runway is of safe length to land on. We're going to kiss pavement at the same time, no matter what. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to give ourselves a nice, healthy allowance for the winds. Now, that means that we are likely going to be approaching faster, slowing quicker, and possibly hitting the ground at slightly higher than this VREF. So we have to bear in mind that our rollout possibly could be longer, which really makes it incumbent on us not to be all pretty, and we should just plant ourselves down firmly, positively, and as far back in the touchdown zone as we can. Now, fighting that tendency, is going to be, if we do a Cat 3 arrival, or a Cat 2 arrival, as I keep screwing with this altimeter here, sorry about that, because An ILS glide slope actually doesn't put you down at the very, very, very beginning of the touchdown zone. It touches you down about 1,000, 1,500 feet in by design. It's supposed to. So if you're really aiming to touch down early on a marginal runway on a marginal day, then you're going to run into some slight problems because you cannot do that unless you can see it early enough to do that visually. If you're simply following the guide, if you're following your flight director or your glide slope or your HUD or in a plane with auto land, it is going to land you at the sort of designated point that the glide slope really terminates, which isn't, a couple hundred feet after the piano keys. It's actually about 1,000 to 1,500 feet, and I forget the exact number, but it means you're going to have a couple things working at cross purposes. So it's nice that we got 8,400 feet to land. It would be even better if we had 10,000 feet to land, but it's not going to be a huge problem. Also, as good as this plane is at modeling all kinds of things, no simulated aircraft does a great job of modeling ground friction on good runways or marginal ones. Just dinking around a little bit with our rudder trim, and we've been hoping for an expedited arrival, and we got one. So we've been told speed our discretion. There's nobody ahead of us, nobody dumb enough to be doing what we're doing. This is one of the reasons why not only is there red here, but it looks like there's a little bit of scarlet, and that's about as bad as you can get. So we should be mentally prepared for some bouncing, and we should be procedurally prepared so that we don't have to do a lot of extra stuff here as we turn onto the Cameron 4. Actually, we're finishing up the Cameron 4. Forgive me. That's how quickly we're moving. We'll bring our power back a bit. Keep ourselves within the realm of propriety. Bring our bleeds to min. Lights are on. Landing altitude is set. We can probably arm the approach as well. Yep, we can, so we will. We've already tuned the approach. And let's slow ourselves down a bit more here. And let's very quickly get our weather. Still 2961. 20 at, okay, so we're going to have a crosswind from the left. This should be fun. Little snazzy. We're 22 miles from our intermediate fix, and we have to come down another 7,200 feet. Let us proceed with slightly more alacrity. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop ourselves into vertical speed mode, and we're going to increase our rate of descent until the barber pole will no longer permit it. So I'm going to be tweaking this up and down slightly. See, we're still trending down in speed, so I still have a little bit of room to play. Now we're 18 from Zettel, and we are 5,600 above. So we're getting there. Shouldn't be a problem now. What's going to be a problem is that we're going to get the poo beaten out of us in a second. We are not showing any icing now, but I fully expect to pick up a ton of it going through the clouds. So we've got our ice protection on already. Okay, 15 and 4,000. So we're looking really good on that. I'm at 15 to go till Zettel, which means that at a reasonable rate we could if we were going down at 300 feet per minute, then we could do 4,500 feet. We're coming down quite a bit more. Our ground speed right now is, let's see, ground speed is 216, 215, so that's 45, 645. So we only really need to come down at about 1,200 feet per minute now to hit our target. So I'm just going to slowly ease back on the rate of descent here. I'm going to slow us down, and you see ice is detected as expected. He says rhymingly. I'm going to come down to around 200 knots, give or take. 11 miles from Zettel. Actually, I want to be at below 200 by just a couple miles before Zettel, or Zettel. Not sure what it is. And at the moment, I am not really looking outside. What I do want to do before it's too late is make a little squeeze down panel here, so when I pop up the HUD, I can still see what my engines are doing. 1,000 away. Now as we level off, it's going to slow us automatically. It's going to slow us for free. And you can see I'm at a reasonable... Hey, hear that crap hitting us? That's sleet. I'm at a reasonable descent power. So as soon as we level off, which is right here, I did not hit Alt Cell. Let's see if we capture. We captured high, but that's okay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get us in heading select mode. I'm going to switch over our nav source and set us up for an intercept for the localizer. So I'm going to pop us in nav mode, and it knows I'm looking for the localizer. I'm going to let us slow. Other thing we're going to do is we're going to set up for a reduced noise profile arrival. Prop levers go to max. Been cleared to land with a knowing chuckle from... Actually, we've been cleared onto the approach. We wouldn't check in till Zettel or maybe Ebby with the tower. All right, in come our first notch of flaps. Out comes our HUD. Autopilot is on. We are looking for the localizer to start coming in, and at which point we will drop our gear, put in the rest of our flaps. Just giving ourselves a little bit more power here. Here comes the localizer. We're up our heading. Drop our gear. Spin our heading to runway heading, which is 045. Pop ourselves into approach mode. Okay, we are armed and ready. Put in our next notch of flaps. Get ourselves on the rudder pedals here. Waiting for the glide slope to come in. Did approach mode arm? It looks like it did. Put in our final notch of flaps. Okay, check our airspeed. We're configured a pretty decent way out, so that's why we're cruising a little bit nose down here. As we go through this turbulence and all this junk. Here comes the glide slope. You can see it on the right next to the speed tape. As it creeps its way in, we're 9 out. We are obviously facing a big headwind component because we're just creeping along here. And it's a little bit too rocky to hand fly at the moment, so I'm just making minor adjustments to the trim, the rudder trim. Okay, here we go. So we're decluttered. The moment we're on autopilot, and we're going to slow to the app. As you can see, we're not having the best time here. Now, we're looking at that bar right there. So what we want to do is we want to minimize that bar just a little bit. As we go through bands of junk and gain and lose some altitude, there's probably a little wind shear in there too. Okay, here we go. Letting the speed come down. 1,700 feet. We are 7 miles out. I should have set a lower decision height. Our decision height is actually effectively 0 with this. Okay, we're right on speed now. My nose is about 1.5 degrees down, which is just about fine. It's because we're carrying a little extra power, and that's mainly for icing and wind shear considerations. If all of a sudden we start to see gigantic changes in airspeed from the low to the high and high to the low, then we're going to get the hell out of here. Okay, our flaps are good. We're right on speed. And we're still getting knocked around quite a lot. You can see the two balls in our flight path vector are getting displaced hither and yon. And I'm hovering over the controls just in case the autopilot decides to take a vacation. A little bit hot on the power, but I really don't mind. I don't want to be too hot on the power, but I don't want to come up short on it if need be. Okay, 3 miles out, 500 feet. We are going to fly this.
500.
Wow. All right, getting a little low. There we go. Fix that. We are on a roller coaster here, folks. Sorry about that. Trying to keep my inputs to a minimum. And also looking for a sort of comfy speed. There's our simulated runway.
Minimums.
Okay, there are our lights. Get wings level here.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
There we are. Big gusts. Woo! Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Floated a little bit. And we will have to do a little bit of work to turn off the runway. But welcome to Kennedy, where the local time is snow 30. Wowee, wowee, wowee. Here, let's see that again. I know I floated. Let's give it. Okay, well, that's certainly one way to fly. Let's see how far away we can see. Apologies, but this scenery does not show anything in the replays. This is FS Dream Team. It's really, really good, but it totally disappears. Any details disappear on the replay, so... Anyway, not too shabby, I guess. And there we are back again in the muck. And on that note, with a long way to go till any semblance of a terminal, we'll just turn off here, and the mighty Slice and I will wish you a warm and safe weekend wherever you happen to be, and the mighty Dash and I will check in from Paris. I think we're going to go to Nice. We're going to go someplace warm after this. And I'll, wow. somewhere in there is John F. Kennedy International Airport. And with that, here at Taxiway Fox Alpha, see you next time. Bye-bye.